I want to produce this video to show some evidence on the possible mass exodus of farmers I've been talking about in my recent content, to do with, some of the things that people just aren't finding out, isn't being spoken about, because it's just not great news. But there are some reporters out there, and there has been some stuff on ABC, there has been some stuff on NBN, has been some content on Prime, and through those other channels, but not much, just one or two little pieces. So I went through and found this article that I want to share with you now. And this article says here, producers warn Senate of mass exodus from farming if supermarkets left unchecked. Now, I'm not a government regulator. I've never studied anything at university to do with this stuff. I'm just a horticulturist that's worked in agribusiness, and I see what's happening around. And some people saying, hey, well, show us some evidence. Well, I already produced some evidence with my family overseas, and I've already, spoken that if people don't believe me, that my friend's farm has been suffered from a recent storm, and that others don't believe me that these contracts that go out with the big two are very controlling. And actually, they aren't contracts. They just bring them the food and they go, yep, this is the price we're getting. And it's the same price as going back as 2011, or only going up 5%. It's just out of control. So what I want to do is share this. I'm very passionate about this. And, people like to attack me online. So I'm going to bring forward some juice here. And let's start reading this article. I've just got to get used to this software a little bit, but I think they're talking mostly about apples in here. But look, apples for apples. We know what's going on, right? I'm going to read this article. Farmers and producers have warned of a mass exodus from the agriculture industry because of low prices for goods paid for by major supermarkets. Now, remember, this is going on in the Senate. This is not just some article that's been written, right? This was something that was taken from the Senate. And you'll listen to this. A Senate committee examining supermarket prices has held hearings on Tuesday in Orange, in New South Wales Central West, for farmers laying bare their struggles in dealing with the duopoly of Coles and Woolworths. Now, this article came out in 12th of March 2024. So I don't know exactly when the Senate committee was, but it must have been just before then. And it says here, orchard owner Guy Gietta, who grows apples and cherries, said major supermarkets had set prices too low for the purchase of produce, leaving an unviable future for growers. Every year on the news, Woolies is saying they pay people millions of dollars, but yet they put on us whatever they want, he told the inquiry. At the rate we're going, there won't be any farms left within 5 to 10 years. Or you're going to have corporate farms, and they're going to be as good as citizens to the consumer as what they are now. And it is scary. If you don't have family farms, you're going to lose your food security. The Senate inquiry was set up following claims of price gouging by major supermarkets to consumers. But primary producers have warned the market power of supermarkets have meant they can change low prices for the purchase of goods. Fellow orchard farmer Ian Pearce told the committee the prices of goods set by supermarkets had largely stayed unchanged for several years, despite labour costs increasing. In 2011, we got $2.37 a kilo and $2.55 a kilo. Last year in September, similar timing, $2.60 and $2.57 a kilo, he said. We're very dependent with apples on the domestic market. We're caught in a cost-price squeeze. Mr. Pearce took aim at the market share of Coles and Woolies, saying there was an imbalance in the industry. Now, the imbalance is that there's been no legislation to stop these guys from creating a big monopoly. If we have more competition, then it changes the prices, guys. This is just basically how it is. And someone needs to get in there and have a dig at these guys and change some of these rules, right? And look, I'm not a senator or anything like that, but this is just stuff it's just obvious. It's just plain sight, and it's been mentioned in many other news events, exactly what I'm saying. He says, even though my wife and I have two sons who are in their early 20s have a passion for agriculture, I really do not see a future for them doing currently what we do, he said. We're at the point where we've got to make some very serious business decisions. And then it says that, I love this title, farmers are the real fresh food people. Earlier, New South Wales Farm President Rebecca Reardon echoed these concerns, telling the Senate inquiry Australia would be able to, I'm going to read this again. Earlier, New South Wales Vice President Rebecca Reardon echoed these concerns, telling the Senate inquiry would be unable to feed itself, and farmers would be driven out of the business unless radical action is taken to reform the supermarket retail sector. It's farmers, not supermarkets, who are the real fresh food people. And if the market dominance of these two big supermarkets, meaning farmers, struggle to make a living, we could very well see a future where Australia can no longer feed itself, Mrs. Reardon said. Now, I'm going to leave an article link down the bottom because it's quite a good read, and it goes much deeper than that. And there's actually an argument creates in the Senate. And look, this was back in March, so it might have been February or whatever that happened. So, we're not long off really this being a year ago. And the way things are spiraling so quickly, like he said, in 10 years, this could be all be over, and corporates will take over the big family farms because no one's going to do them. So they'll sell them off. Big corporates will take over. It's all about profit, 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 profit. Now, one thing would be the big corporates would probably stand up to the two because they got more money to do that. That might be a good thing. But what it comes down to is they'll just basically, everything will change. And we really don't know how it will change other than when we look at, say, like milk, cheeses and different things. These dairy farmers were basically had to sell all their properties around here. There's no dairies around here anymore. You look and you see when I'm driving around, you see all these old dairy barns and things, and there's the odd one around that is still producing a bit of milk. Really, really rare. Mostly we just see beef cattle out the back of my place, and we very rarely see these guys making their own milks and cheeses and things like that. And so big corporate have just taken them over. Luckily, we have Norco here. I really like Norco, the product, the milk product here. Don't know much about the corporatization of that, except they seem pretty good, and they're cooperative, I believe. But it's scary stuff, guys. Like, you just read in that article, it says the future, our food security future, is at hand. And I just wanted to bring that forward. I'm stumbling a little bit in my words today here because, man, if people don't start thinking about this and don't start planning or do whatever they can, who knows, maybe some like politician or something's going to watch this. I highly doubt it, but you just never know, and make some changes that need to be done. It's scary stuff. And all I'm saying is get out there, grow your own food, protect yourself. In the last video, I talked a bit about sort of like going back over the articles or the content that I'd been speaking about and sort of covering that again to sort of the people that hadn't seen the last videos, and then talking about protecting ourselves in other ways, like from the storm events and things like that. But I don't want to get off track here. What I'm going to do is leave the article link for you in the description if you're interested in reading something like that. Also, do your own due diligence, get out there and read more, study more, and find out what's going on, because it's a worrying times, honestly. All right, I'm going to say goodbye now, and I'm ramping up here at Marty's Garden. It's it's also a lot of fun bringing this content out, but I'm dead set serious. We need to think ahead, future forward thinking, my friends. Bye for now.